And by the way, I freaking, all the initial stuff about the skin of blackness, that was the stuff I gave them. And now they got a white guy saying, well, here's the real skin of blackness stuff, while they remove me from the thumbnail and take credit for the stuff that I taught them years ago. What a bunch of Benedict Arnold traitors. They're supposed to be the accepting show, right? We're the warm, accepting, nice show on the Mormon blogosphere, media stuff, and we're the only one that has systemically erased the brown guy from all of the thumbnails.
Look, they took him off of every single thumbnail that he was on, including his own testimony.
The only black host. Do you think they should change the name from the More Good Foundation to the More White Foundation?
This is 1984 George Orwell stuff.
We have a Mormon caste system.
I feel like these people threw you under the bus, man.
For sure. I sacrificed, and the frickin' way they repay me is pretending I wasn't there. All it says.
That's what's going to happen. That's what's going to happen when Christ comes and talks to Saints Unscripted and says, why did you take out Kwaku's insight about...
We forgot to upload the thumbnail.
Dude, Saints Unscripted, I didn't believe it at the beginning.
I'm not even making the joke. I'm not going to make the joke.
I could not even believe it. But Saints Unscripted took Kwaku L out of every single one of their thumbnails to such a degree that his own testimony of his conversion doesn't even have his face on it.
Yeah, they took me off it.
Dude, look at it right here. I'll do a real-time
audit of all the episodes we did about the priesthood ban and black people in the church as well. So now it's
When Kwaku started throwing they tried to call them COVID parties, and he threw parties at the end of COVID when you could still go out and it was fully legal, but all of the woke scolds were still trying to say tisk, tisk, tisk if you're not wearing a mask and stuff. He became controversial, and they scrubbed the only black kid in the entire production. They scrubbed him out of every single thumbnail, and no joke, look at this. I'm going to do this in real time right now. Look, Saints Unscripted Kwaku L testimony, and it's called My Testimony. Okay, and look, here it is right here. I'm putting it up on the screen so you guys can see it. Here's why I joined the Mormon Church. Look at this. It's the one on top. Let me see if I can pull it down a little bit so you can see it a little bit better. It's this video on top. See why I joined the Mormon Church? As I roll over, you see it starts playing, and it's just Kwaku.
What? They did that with every
He's not on the thumbnail. Look, they took him off of every single thumbnail that he was on, including his own testimony.
The only black host in the history of Saints Unscripted, they have removed from all of the thumbnails, so I cannot be seen on the YouTube thumbnail recommendations. And I'm not kidding.
And here he is. Okay. Look at how young he looked.
What in the world?
I'm not kidding.
This is crazy.
Yeah. They did that. Okay. And I'm literally, the silhouette is straight up me.
Yeah.
Can you believe that? Now, it gets even crazier when you realize their hosts now are all white. I've been replaced by like a white girl with blue hair or green hair. She's got the cool little like Paramore thing going on. Yeah. There's no other brown host.
Because to be truly academic, you have to be a virtue signaling white person that talks about racism instead of an actual minority who lives the.
But by the way,
stop it! No.
That's the religion of academia. The religion of academia.
They didn't take you off because you're black.
No.
That's the stupid byproduct. Like they're so committed to their suburbanism and their propriety. Okay, that because they're angry about the COVID parties, that they'll take them off the thumbnails, not realizing that they ended up erasing the identity. I'm not saying
like they're supposed to be the accepting show, right? We're the warm, accepting, nice show on the Mormon blogosphere, media stuff, and we're the only one that has systemically erased the brown guy from all of the thumbnails.
Dude, I'm telling you, man, it's crazy.
That's nuts.
And their next step is they'll probably just delete all the ones I'm on. They'll never apologize for it. when we asked David Snell, he was like, I'd rather not comment on the Kwaku whole Kwaku situation. What do you mean you won't comment on it? You're a talk show host. That's your job, is to comment stuff.
Poor David. Right now, I think David's great, and there's not better.
He's very
content.
talented. Love what he does. But when I saw him,
David Snell.
I saw him say,
no, it's just right when you were mentioning his name.
And by the way, I freaking all the initial stuff about the skin of blackness. That was the stuff I gave them. And now they got a white guy saying, well, here's the real skin of blackness stuff, while they remove me from the thumbnail and take credit for the stuff that I taught them years ago. What a bunch of Benedict Arnold traitors.
Well, I was saying poor David Snell because right as you were saying that, as I clicked past the video, one of his videos came up and his face was the one that was there right as you were talking about him. And I promised it was not pre-programmed. That's funny. But
do all white people talk like this? Do all white people talk like this?
Wait, what?
No, this is a thing I don't know. I picked this up when I was a kid whenever we mock someone because they're a robot, and I'm actually...
Is that how David Snell...
I'm enlightened, but the person I disagree with is you notice I during the show, I go, well, I think that, and I syncopate it with Anyway.
Yeah.
But...
with either C-3PO or the Tin Man from The Wizard of Oz. Like...
Right.
Anyway,
to get back to... sorry, Ed, say your thing. Ed,
I just want to say I defend Saints Unscripted. I really do. I think it's essential that 10 and 11 and 12-year-olds have a place to go.
It's a great show,
Can
yes.
get a little bit of gospel
I'm just a little bit annoyed that I am one of the people that... By the way, remember, when that show started, there wasn't a lot of LDS YouTubers. I was a freaking kid. I was getting crap from all the antis. I was getting all the freaking BYU honor code people were coming after me. I had swarms of antis coming after me on every social media platform constantly. I sacrificed all of my early normal college career for that show to help build it up, and the freaking way they repay me is pretending I wasn't there. What a bunch of... Okay, block it out. They are.
Did anybody catch Ed's like nicest shade ever when he's like, because 10 and 11 and 12-year-olds need a place to go. Like,
well, that's funny. I was thinking 65-year-olds.
I'm sorry. And you know what? None of them will confront me like a man about it. None of them will. The fact that they did that and it's messed up and I sacrificed so much for that show. And literally, imagine being so woke. And I am so woke and progressive. These are the people that took the Native American off of the Lando Lakes butter, where they're like, we want to be inclusive of natives. Let's remove her from the land. Didn't we already have enough of that? Let me remove the Indian from the land to show I love the Indians. Okay, Andrew Jackson. That's right, David Snell. You're the Andrew Jackson of Mormon podcasts.
Let me interpret.
He didn't make that.
Well, and I'm just gonna say I did look. This is I think what he's getting at, Jonah. If I'd like to distill and channel some of Kwaku's rage, is that in their commitment to propriety and niceness culture, okay, which includes, apparently summarily dismissing out of high and proper society those who did not go along with the COVID rules. They accidentally stumbled into what could be perceived, if this were the 1960s, as overt racism. And just here's a perfect example of an audit. If I just Google into YouTube Saints Unscripted, like, here's this thumbnail of Here We Go Again from their latest show, both 4 days ago and 6 days ago. It's literally all just white people. Like, this is the same audit we do on John DeLynn when John DeLynn wants to come out and talk about how, less racist ex-Mormonism is versus, pro-Mormonism. I say, like, okay, cool, you can make the doctrinal arguments and stuff like that, but I prefer real-life practical arguments, and one of the real-life practical arguments is, let me audit your YouTube channel. And if we look at his YouTube channel, it's basically like 99% white Wasatch Front middle-aged people,
I'm sorry, it's a caste system. We have a Mormon caste system, and I'm sorry.
Well, let me finish. I'm finishing defending you. Defending you, Kwaku. I've known Kwaku for a long time, and yes, he has his problems. I do not get into political arguments with Kwaku. It's like starting a land war in Asia on risk. He will always outlast you. Okay, but I do have to stop and take a step back, which the gospel of Jesus Christ tells us to do, and you start recognizing some things. Kwaku was actually born in a real religious cult on the East Coast, okay, to a polygamous father that had multiple wives. And because of that, the fact that he was a home birth, he doesn't know what his actual birthday is. He could be born in either, 1996 or 2000, right?
There's like documentation from 96 to like 2000 of every year. It's like crazy stuff.
So
I've been in contact with the Vital Records department to try to actually get and they're like, sorry, dude, we have no record of your real birth. We only have a bunch of weird kind of.
So in one of your cumes, I've seen your ID from when you went to college in San Francisco. I've seen the driver's license. He could have been born in 1996 and is a late 20-something, or he could have been born in 2000 and is an early 20-something.
Or 97, 98, 99.
Yeah. But either way, when I met him, he was a freshman in college who looked like a sophomore in high school. And there's a possibility, because your mom basically sent you to school once you were tall enough to be considered a 5-year-old.
Yeah.
You could have gone when you were like 4 and been in a class with 6-year-olds. You were probably a 17-year-old as a freshman at BYU when I met you, which means you were bearing the burden of the ex-Mormon, anti-Mormon subreddit culture, trolling you, following you in Costco, making it so you had to wear a plate carrier in a debate because of the threats that we were getting. I mean, the social burden of cancellation that you had to bear as a 17, 18, and 19-year-old is unprecedented in Mormon celebrity culture. And instead of Saints Unscripted backing you up, I've defended you against so many mobs here, even when I've disagreed with you on crap you've said on Twitter, because I think holistically, if I look at you from a higher perspective, I'm like, no, he is a net positive on this world. Try and overlook the faults, and let's look at the good. But I feel like these people threw you under the bus, man.
For sure.
As a 17-year-old,
it took them 2 seconds to just cast away, pretend I was never there. Still make money off those videos, though. I don't know, but I'm assuming they're still monetized, right? So,
we could check.
We'll take the money, but
we could check.
But we want nothing to do with you. You're never even here. It's just the whole thing. But to get back to the subject, I'm going to wrap it up nicely. Oh my gosh!
I was about to say,
Go back.
I'm just looking at it. I'm looking at it.
We almost got back to the subject.
Okay, what? Okay, here's
scroll down. Converted Mormon reunites with missionary.
They took you off that thumbnail too.
It's us three. They took me
off the thumbnail.
The convert of freaking Sister Lou and Paige, one of my best friends. That's all three of us. Do you really? Oh my gosh, these people.
Oh,
it's
man.
Okay. It doesn't matter. So to wrap this thing up. So
I had a thought here, Kwaku. So
yeah,
to bring it back here. Because I love David Snow, but to bring it back,
he's a good guy. I don't have anything against him.
And I don't think that was his decision. The poor guy's caught in the crossfire. David, we love you. Best content out of that organization.
Can I say one thing, Jonah?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Can I say one thing, Jonah?
Yeah.
Let me be clear. I know the people at More Good. I like them all as people. Okay, this is not. I don't hate anyone there. I've had great memories with them. We've had a lot of laughs. So I get it. That they're. I don't want them to think I hate them, because I really don't, and I really like what they do. David Snell has never liked me as a person. I want to be clear. Even when I was on the show with him, he never liked me. We were never friends. It was always, you could tell, countdown till Kwaku's off the show. He never was a real, because I think he viewed me as competition of who the quote main host is.
Oh, well, maybe that's just his personality. He's a little bit more serious of a character and a straight shooter.
David Snell never liked me. If
I will defend my boy Dave.
If I
just like I defend you.
Dude, I'm not kidding you. If tomorrow I fell in Utah Lake and no one ever found me again, I wouldn't even get an Instagram story of an RIP from David Snell. I'm not kidding. I could die in a house fire tomorrow. He would not care. He would not care at all.
Oh, we need him more grace than that.
I promise you. Yeah. I know I sound like Cat Williams right now on the podcast. If I died tomorrow, David Snell would not shed a tear. He'd be like, huh. Hey, honey, you want Chick-fil-A? That's literally what he was. Okay, so I want to make that clear.
Bro.
Rachel and everyone else there, I've had great memories with them. Justin's a great guy. I love everyone there. Mimi, I love Mimi to death. I don't think she's on the show anymore. But I just want to be clear, like,
well, the fact that they took you off the thumbnails, like, look at this one right here. They literally utterly eliminated you from the thumbnail of Kweku's conversion part 2. Like you're missing from the thumbnail of your own story. And then here's the other 2 thumbnails of the videos that you did right here. And they've taken you out of the thumbnails. Meanwhile, if you go back and you look at all the other thumbnails from the organization, there's faces that are very prevalent. And unfortunately now, if we kind of do a little bit of a representational audit, I don't like this kind of woke stuff. I think that,
but this isn't woke. We're not pushing an agenda here.
Well,
we're
yeah,
not saying,
I'm just saying,
how dare they not have replaced me with Bachelor? That's not what we're saying.
Yeah.
We're not
Okay.
saying, where's your other black host? We're just saying, we're discussing, removing black people from the record.
It's surprising they didn't see this coming from a mile away.
Of course not.
Okay, yeah.
Yes.
Of course they didn't see it coming.
Saints Unscripted, you have an answer. You get yourself a picture of Kwaku. Oh, it's too dark.
Back
it up.
Not the
But
picture
anyway,
of Kwaku, you're saying.
The actual plot of this episode, right? What happens? Okay, so I was saying the race issue is solved in the whole Book of Mormon. It tells you what's going to happen. They remove Samuel. And they have the part where Little United. We're all like, okay, all right, Jed. Okay,
You get a picture put a picture of Kwaku in the corner of your studio.
Yeah.
Your picture is solved.
okay.
Okay,
So,
keep going, Kwaku.
what was I gonna say? So effectively,
Sorry about that.
The problem is solved in the Book of Mormon.
problem solved, and you have the part of the United. All are like unto God, black, white, bond, and free, male and female. Okay, that's like a really like racially uniting part of the Book of Mormon. But then you have other parts where it seems divisive because this is these people's opinions. So I go to the Doctrine and Covenants, and what does Jesus say? He says, "Renounce war and proclaim peace. Seek diligently to turn the hearts of the fathers to the children, and the children to the fathers, lest they come and smite the earth with a curse. I say unto you, be one, and if ye are not one, ye are not mine." So Jesus says, unite or die. That's literally what Jesus says. So the whole message is actually in the Book of Mormon. How does all this BLM stuff work? How does all this racial division work? Everybody dies. That's how it works. And Jesus goes,
Nah.
start over,
Yeah, that's-
boom. Every single time, that's how it ends. No one is really going to gain, despite what all the tradcasts and the weirdos on Twitter say, everybody dies at the end unless people unite. That's what the Book of Mormon tells us. The whole message is played out and the ending is played out for us, but we don't apply it. We go, wow, this must mean the ending's going to be different than the Book of Mormon says. No, it's clear. Follow what it says. Follow the lessons, the implications. People messed up. Even the prophets messed up. And they were humble enough to make sure we could see their mistakes so we don't repeat them while also taking counsel of their wisdom. That's the beautiful part of it. But do we do that as members of the church? No. We almost never do. And that's probably what frustrates all the angels. They're like, you people are so stupid. You guys have the extra record. You have more than the other Christians.
This is what Hugh Nibley had a response like this. Somebody was talking about the Book of Mormon, and he said the story of the Book of Mormon isn't about the Nephites. Oh shoot, how did he say it? I'm going to botch it. It isn't about the Nephites. It's about what the Nephites became.
Make it up.
Yes.
Make it up.
Yes.
It's that in the end they became the villains. The tragic story of the Nephites. It isn't about, well, the Nephites are so much better than the Lamanites. It's like, no, the Nephites thought they were better than the Lamanites, and they were all exterminated because God forsook them and said, fine, you're not one, you're not mine. The other thing I want to say, Kwaku, is that what you're proposing is and I hate to use this word, a nuanced approach to reading the words of prophets.
Which also means heretical, and I reject it.
But not nuanced.
No.
Yeah. But not
Well, I'm
nuanced
saying,
in the way it's like, well, maybe this didn't happen. It happened.
Right. No. What I'm saying is that these all these things come through the filter of the authors and the language that they're writing in. JosephSmith was writing in King James in English, even though he didn't speak King James English, but that's how he thought religiously. So it passes through the filter of the prophet who's writing it. And this can seem heretical to people who want it to be perfect and they want a manual printed out for them and a book that they can worship as being perfect. But the word of God is coming through men. Now, I don't think that's a bug. I think that's a feature. In the end, when we stand up at judgment, when people want to blame God for all the misunderstandings, he's going to say, you're all a family. You're saved as a family. or you're damned alone. And you can unite and be saved together. So I had missionaries called among you. I had bishops called from men. I had people going to save other people, saving your own family. The work of salvation is our work. It's the work of our family because we get saved as a family. And so that's why God doesn't push Isaiah off the desk and write Isaiah with his own hand. He doesn't do that. He's letting our family save ourselves. And that's okay. That's how it's supposed to be.
Paul says, come, let us reason together. The scriptures are supposed to, we're here on earth, and this earth life is a test to prepare us for the next life. He wants the gears to work. He doesn't want a perfect manual of here's exactly what you must do. No, you gotta interpret stuff. We're supposed to we're about to face eternity and become gods, and you really think we're not going to have to battle through some things, right? So one last example of this, of the descriptive, is the war chapters of the Book of Mormon. What happened at the end of the Book of Mormon? The Nephites still all are exterminated. The wars are a temporary solution, but not a real solution.
Yeah,
everybody
one of the biggest
dies.
lessons of the Book of Mormon is that the wars didn't work in the end.
Hugh Nibley has a whole thing about that. He's like, yeah, sometimes we in the church walk around with those Captain Moroni flags, but kind of missing the point.
Yeah,
It's like
exactly.
The point is they kind of didn't actually work. Spencer W. Kimball even elaborates on that in this talk called "The False Gods We Worship From." I think it's 1971. But that's a descriptive part. We're supposed to look at that today, and we're supposed to go, am I relying too much on the sword and support of the sword to fix the world when it's really the light of God and the love of Christ that fixes the world, right? And this is the thing we do in America. We fall into that same trap the Nephites probably fell under, where we're like, get those bad guys, yeah, take them out, yeah, we're the strongest, biggest, and baddest. It's like, well, that doesn't work in the end. It does not work.
Yeah.
So I think the Book of Mormon is really descriptive, but that the descriptive nature of it is to get us to reflect as to how to be better disciples and to look at the solutions of the past and think, how well did those solutions work? And maybe the real solution, because remember and this is the most controversial thing I'm ever going to say. I know someone's going to clip this.
Oh boy.
But
Yeah.
the end of the Book of Mormon, there's not even a church. It's one guy with the history of his people and his testimony. That's it.
Okay.
Everyone else is dead.
All right.
So tomorrow, article comes out. 5 of the 12 apostles were participating in a Guatemalan drug war, and have been becoming billionaires by trading cocaine.
That was
to a bunch
wildly
of
specific and awesome.
something crazy, but it turns out it was all true. Okay.
Okay.
A bunch of people's faith would be destroyed,
All right.
and I would go,
Okay.
because the end of the Book of Mormon, there are no apostles. There are no. It's still. He's hanging on with his divine connection.
Okay.
Now, what if we were put in that position? What if atomic bombs go off and everyone in America dies tomorrow, and Jonah, you're the last guy in the Pacific Northwest, and all you got is you and the Book of Mormon.
And Bigfoot.
And Bigfoot. Will you still have your testimony? Will you be like a Moroni? So that's the implication of so much of this. It's really amazing stuff, but it's descriptive. It's a little prescriptive, but it's descriptive, and that's the solution. That's how we can disarm the antis.
We all need to remember that the model God created in revealing the Book of Mormon is that each of us would get an individual experience with God through it and a testimony of it to ourselves, not from anyone else or through anyone else, that we would have our own personal experience. And I did. And I know that the Book of Mormon is absolutely an authentic book. It is written by God's prophets, and it is a divine book. And yeah, if every mountain fell into the sea and all the seas dried up and every sun burnt out and every star burned out of the sky, I would still be a member of the Church of Jesus Christ. I would still have a testimony of the Book of Mormon. I know that it's true.
All right.
And
Ed, last thoughts.
And
dude.
what
Wrap
I
it
got
up,
out
brother.
of this about 10, 15 minutes ago, Quakey was down on himself and taking all the sacrifices for the team. But he was 17 years old, kissing 21-year-old women. And I think I think you have nothing to complain about, brother. And you deserve a bunch of Air 5s as far as I'm concerned.
I'll tell you something wild. And again, this is still a mystery, the whole, like, as soon as I finally get, the real, I would actually block out, when you can in post, block out the state when I said that, just keep in vital records, because I don't want,
Oh, yeah. Okay, cool.
But one thing is, when I first got to Provo, and looking back in hindsight, I was at least 2 years younger than everybody else I was hanging out with.
Yeah.
Like, if you look at them now and me now, there's a very clear distinction of, like, they look way freaking older.
Yeah.
And it's almost like, it's like stupidly obvious.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like, even if you go look at Saints Unscripted, my voice is so high.
Yeah.
Like if you listen to it, it's so weird. Even when I first started Ward Radio.
Yeah.
Like, so it's pretty crazy stuff. But yeah, I was pulling chicks.
Yeah.
I was pulling chicks that were.
So they're all talking to their bishop, and Quake is just sitting back going.
And this is the last thing. Kwaku, that I will say as part of this argument. I did just, while you're on your monologue there, and it was great and it was beautiful. I was listening. I'm sure you loved it too, Jonah. I did an audit of Saints Unscripted. And if you look up, and I'm going to put this on the screen so you can see it right here and you can react to it, okay? There's David's Mormon conversion story, right there on the thumbnail, loud and proud. And then I'm looking up yours, and there it is. Why join the Mormon church and converted Mormon reunites with missionary. Your 2 stories right there. Look at the thumbnail. Nothing, bro. Nothing. Bro, they took
the
you
one
off the thumbnails.
Gosh, these people look, converted Mormon reunites with missionary, okay? But they barely change a thumbnail enough, dummies. Kwaku's conversion part 2. You think that white girl is named Kwaku? Wow, crazy white girl with an African man name. What? I can't believe it's like lazy.
It's okay. Like and last
sorry,
thing,
I know
we got to end it right now, but I'll say this. This happened. This happened in the hometown that I grew up in. I went to a high school whose mascot was the Indian. And there was a turn of the century actor who had such respect for the local American Indians that he dedicated the land that he gave to the county. He was a very wealthy actor, so he donated the land that ended up becoming the local high school. And we were called the Indians. That was our mascot. We had this big, beautiful, actually accurate, archaeologically accurate Indian. There was this big warrior with a beautiful headdress and the outfit, and it said "Alive with Pride." This wasn't the Cleveland Indians cartoon with a big googly-eyed squanto. Okay, it was a very tall and regal warrior chief that was dedicated as the mascot of our high school because that actor had so much respect for the American Indians that he filmed with during the Westerns. And because of that, the rival school was the Cowboys, which is ostensibly the warrior class of the ranchers to the west. Then there was the Vikings, okay, which is the warrior class of that was a northern high school, was the warrior class of the Nordic countries. And then there was the Centurions, which was the fourth high school. Okay. And so you had the warrior class of basically, every continent nationality was in my hometown. But all the woke scolds and the people worried about propriety said, we got to get rid of the Indian because it may not be disrespectful. So in all of their niceness culture worship, they didn't eliminate the Mediterranean centurions, the Italian warriors. They didn't eliminate the Vikings. You know what I'm saying? The white Nordic warriors. They didn't eliminate the Cowboys, okay? The rough and tumble dudes of the West. They eliminated the only positive representation of people of color in any of the mascots when they got rid of the Indians. And we're supposed to pat ourselves on the back. It's like, what is niceness culture? Are we having positive representations of minorities? Or are we just kicking them out, erasing their identity, which is, bad because we're not supposed to erase their identity? Like, these people, like, they, in their worship of false idols, they accidentally crush the real ones. You know what I'm saying?
Leftists are racists.
So,
No, okay, and again, I'm not saying Saints of Scripture are leftists. I'm not even saying they're bad people.
No, but they accidentally behave like them when they worship at the altar of suburban niceness culture.
That's the thing. It is like there is a little caste system within Utah Mormonism, and the Salt Lake City center left, suburban, wealthy, inherited wealth kind of mindset that you find,
and the auxiliary institutions of the church that aren't the church itself, but get money from it, that think they're all high and mighty.
Yeah, you find it kind of in the Provo, like Edgemont, Riverwoods, Orem neighborhood type of like that, like kind of wealth level. Those people,
names. I want names.
I will give names.
Names of leadership, not just the poor low level guys.
But those people are all about, and this might be another podcast, but those people are all about how do others view me as opposed to who I truly am. You want to know, aside from it being overcast for 6 months, the reason why Utah has the depression rate it has, I have really thought about this.
It's wealth.
Well,
it's wealth has bred pride, and that pride in suburbanism is
depression. But another thing is what that insulated community mindset does is you're constantly on the watch for how others view you. You could probably go to any house in Alpine, Utah, any house in Orem, and you'll hear when a girl turns 16 or something, and let's say she's wearing a crop top or whatever, you will hear an argument of, what do you think Bishop's going to say if he sees you wearing that? Like, I have heard things like that. You're going to hear that. And that mindset of like, do you know what I heard? Like, all these people are saying X, Y, Z. That's a very Utah-centric, like, that is a Utah sentence. But what does that do right there? It makes a developing teenage mind believe that their worth or value is dependent on what the society says. And so you've got a bunch of people in Utah doing this. It's, I, as a head of the Morgan Foundation, would never. Ain't no friggin' way they have Ian Forsyth as the guy.
Okay, I'm sorry. We're ending it right here, but before we go, look, they took you off another one, bro. The blacks and the priesthood doesn't even have a black guy on the thumbnail, but it's you hosting the video. They got the skinny white guy on the cover of the blacks and the priesthood video because they had to take you out the thumbnail.
And to be clear, Ian Forsyth is a great guy, but the only black people on the thumbnail are from the Google Images, black Mormons.
I'm telling you, bro, that was just a faux pas. All right, so anyway, we got to get out of here. That was a riot, man. Sorry, Saints Unscripted. Sorry, man, but you guys laced the field with mines, and you stepped on a minefield that you built yourself. And
did they oh my gosh!
They literally took you off of the blacks. Did they actually
make the word blacks and white?
that might be a stretch.
I'm sorry. At this point, dude, they got.
I'm so glad woke is out. So when people make stupid errors like this,
who decided to change? You got to know the guy who was deciding to change these thumbnails. Did it never occur to him or her as he's doing it? Like,
now he knows what that guy. You know how Stalin had all of the pictures that had the high-ranking people that he purged from his own military and he killed, had them like taken out of the photos so as though they never existed. You know, I wonder if that guy, as he's trying to Photoshop you out of the Photoshop projects, like if it ever occurred to him, like, am I kind of like Stalin's Photoshopper right now?
It's really crazy. There's a 1984 book. The lead character Smith is his job is to take people out of the news and to change headlines. And that is literally what happened here. This George Orwell, this is 1984 George Orwell stuff. And it's a real shame that a great organization like FAIR has.
This is more good.
No, this is more good, not
more
fair.
good. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, no, this is more good, not fair. No,
Okay.
Fair's not advanced enough to have thumbnails yet.
Okay.
No, I'm just kidding. No, they actually.
More good is so far.
They have to improve their YouTube game.
More good gave me my own channel with a separate water fountain.
Yeah.
Savage. Okay. This is going downhill fast. FAIR is amazing at what they do. They're the original gangsters of apologetics. And yes, they're in the process of modernizing, and I look forward to seeing what they have to offer the internet. These people should know better. These people have big budget. FAIR doesn't have big budget. They're all volunteers. They're doing the very best they can, and they're amazing people. But these cats got millions. And yeah, these games,
Do you think they should change the name from the More Good Foundation to the More White Foundation?
Savage, man. That is brutal. Okay, well, before this gets any worse, we are getting out of here.
Like getting out of here. Like they said, hey, remove that darky from all the... Get him out of here.
Get him out of here. So, all right. No, we are getting out of here. Let us know what you guys think in the comments below. Let's keep the conversation going. More good. If you want to apologize to our poor boy,
they never will.
Here,
I was there. I know what they're going to see it. They'll talk about it a little bit. They will never address it. They will never apologize. I'm telling you,
it's the false idol of suburbanism.
They care more about making sure people who are about to leave the church in the comments section are happy than like the people who put in hours and hours of work and took the bullets for them way back in the... I'm telling you, they're good
brutal.
people, but they care so much about other people view them. They will do cruel and dark things to maintain a facade that doesn't even matter.
And that's not the gospel of Jesus Christ. That's not the attitude of Jesus Christ. And I personally abhor that. You always should stick up for your friends. And hopefully you feel like I've done that for you. Actually, I know I have, because you are one of my most stressful
We've been in the freaking barracks together. Okay?
Yeah, we've been in some pretty tough situations. You know, you and I are literally like those people in the movies that like hate each other but are like really good friends at the same time. Like, I gotta bail out my friend against stupid friend. I like,
well, I mean, well, and people have also like been like, I can't believe you do a show with this person. But at the end of the day, it's like, look, the minute you start saying I need to change and regulate who I spend time with because a person online doesn't like them.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, you're a wimp. If you do that, you're a total wimp.
Yeah, totally. So anyway, Jonah Barnes, ward librarian, thanks for hanging out with us. Ed, bodyguard Ed, thanks for keeping us secure while we engage in this free speech, this heresy, this blasphemy.
I'm making a video tonight. You know the old video where Kanye West is with Mike Myers? And
I don't know.
It's like that. Oh, they're doing something for the victims of Hurricane Katrina, and out of nowhere, he goes off script and says, George Bush doesn't care about black people.
No, yeah.
You remember that video?
That was like
I'm literally going to make
2000s.
one.
Yeah.
I'm going to make one randomly, and they're not going to know when it's coming. I will be in some commercial. They're not going to know when it's coming, where I'm going to say randomly, the More Good Foundation doesn't care about black people, and it will go viral.
Okay, real quick. My brother and I, we wrote two papers, one about the Methodist schism and another one about, I think it was either Pew or PRR study on religion. And it was straight, it was above board, it was reprinted in newspapers that had no political agenda. And More Good refused to print it because they said it was subversive.
Oh, really?
You're so subversive, Ed. That's so you.
Again, they can do whatever they want. They can do whatever they want. We're not saying they shouldn't. I'm not even saying put me back on, but we reserve the right to make jokes about you.
Yes, that's true. You can always make light of difficult, stressful, and unfair situations.
Make more light and remove the dark from your thumbnails.
Dude, you're making me old man wheeze, bro. So anyway, all right, we're getting out of here for this and more. I'm ending right here for this and more. Check us out at wordradio.com. Bye.
I ain't trying to bring you down, but for real, you might as well give up now. Think you got a chance, but I don't see how. Got a real tight grip when I hold that crown. My life been good and bad and all around. The more things I lost, the more I found. One thing I taught myself to do, no matter the problem, refuse to lose. So, how you want it, man? You can choose. If you can't take the heat, don't light the fuse. See, I walk in slow and ignite the room. Like fire, everything I touch, I consume. I'm getting up while y'all just snooze. While you make breakfast, man, I'm on the move. I'm the first one in and the last one out. Who Whoever owns the place gotta drag me out. In me I trust, yeah I smell like success, this Elon Musk, huh? Everybody wanna be like us, we don't stop cause the top just ain't enough.